Hey guys, Stu here, bringing you another DKC3 103% tutorial video. Today we're going to be looking at Murky Mill, which is a pretty reset heavy level. The reason for this is it contains the Murky Mill Ellie skip trick, and while that trick does utilize a pretty good setup with buffered inputs to help minimize the pain, at the end of the day it is still a pretty tight window, and if you miss the trick you're going to be losing a ton of time playing this level out as Ellie. So I pretty much recommend, when you're first learning this, to do a 2-entry Murky Mill. Take the Warp Barrel the first time, go grab the last bonus of the level, beat the level, re-enter it, and then try Murky Mill Ellie skip, and then you can start select once you get to the DK coin. But for the super high tier, you're gonna want to always do one entry Murky Mill, and then if you don't get the Murky Mill Ellie skip, just reset your run. But yeah, I'll get more into the actual details of the level after I finish watching out the IL. Enjoy. Now it's the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to take a look at the Murky Mill Ellie skip. So we're going to enter here holding Y and right to get a roll off, and then we're going to jump, trying to land as far left as possible on this platform. Because this elevator doesn't rise until you start touching it, so the farther left you're on the platform, the earlier you're touching the platform, which is the sooner that the platform will start moving. So that's kind of the bottleneck there. I'm holding Y and right into the wall to make sure I'm at like running speed. When the elevator is just about to end, I'm going to do a roll into the wall and then max jump past this platform. So max jump right there, and then after like I've reached the peak of my jump and I start descending, right about there, I'm going to release and repress and hold B for a buffered max jump. This means that the moment that I touch the ground, since I'm already holding B at this point, I'll instantly go off into another jump, and I want to have a max jump off of that. The other thing to note is on this second max jump, what you want to do is also start holding down midair. This means if you're holding down midair, that means the moment that you touch the ground, you'll get a duck off. And we're going to use this duck to be able to duck under this Ellie barrel, right? And the trick that I use to make sure I don't hold down too long, because if you hold down too long, you notice how your momentum with Dixie is going to stop. So to make sure I don't hold down too long, when Dixie gets just a little bit lower, I want her to be like her foot in line with the sag of the rope. So something like this, maybe just a hair higher, but around this area, this is when I want to release my down input. And then if I do it right, she'll get a duck off for like the first frame or two that she touches the ground. But then since my down input is no longer held, she will go right back up and not lose any momentum and get under the Ellie barrel. So let me try to do it in full motion so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Again, we're going to use 2 max jumps, including one buffered max jump and then a buffered down input. So max, hold down, release at the, oh, okay, try again. Like I said, this trick is a little bit finicky. It does help having the buffered inputs, but it's still definitely very possible to miss it. So there you go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Again, I use the sag of the rope as my kind of visual cue for when to release the down input after the second max jump, and the other the second jump itself is a buffered jump. So hopefully that helps you get through this Ellie skip. Definitely takes a little bit of practice. As you can see, I messed it up the first time here. So once you get through this side, you're gonna need a roll, jump, roll through these 2 rats, roll, jump. You can roll through that guy, and actually, I don't think, what is it? I think you come down here. Yeah, I think you just run. You fall off this platform, and then you just roll through this Sproing guy. Now these vertical drops right here, what you're going to want to do, there's going to be a barrel down here. So you'll kind of notice from my input display, I'll go back up there and show, is that I run off the ledge, turn left, and then I release Y. I want to release Y kind of just before I touch the ground. That way I don't pick up the barrel. Then I can roll through the rat, jump fly, a roll jump fly on top of the bouncy guy there, and then it should bounce me into this bear coin up here for free. Next, you'll notice that there is a barrel there. So what you're going to want to do is, again, release Y so you can walk through the barrel without picking it up. If you get a good bounce off of this guy and hold Y long enough without picking up this barrel, you're actually able to get far enough with enough speed that you can almost, not exactly right away, but almost right away, go into a roll while still having the max horizontal speed, and thus you'll get the fast roll off of this ledge. Whereas like right here, you can see I kind of get a slow roll right there, as opposed to something like that. So if you're able to get deep enough past this barrel off of the bounce from this guy, then you'll be able to get a nice fast roll through this guy. It's not like a huge difference, but it's nice. It's a nice little, I bet it's like 0.1 or 0.2 or something like that time save. It's probably not much, but it's nice. But anyways, you're gonna roll through this guy, then roll through this guy, and then you'll notice I take a little bit of a delay. I walk a little bit to the left first before I roll through this this jumping guy right here to make sure that my roll will actually go through him. And again, we're gonna have a vertical drop right here, but there's gonna be this time it's gonna be a rat on the bottom side. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a wide turn there, so that as soon as I land, I can roll right through this rat. So I don't have to release Y during this section, but I do need to take just a little bit of a Y turn, not much, but just enough, just a little bit of a delay. If you don't, you'll end up bouncing off of this rat. It's not the worst thing in the world, but you can definitely do a little bit better if you're able to roll through this rat. Then I'm gonna run to the right. I'm not gonna roll until I get like Dixie's face covered by this. That's gonna be the point where you'll actually be able to roll deboost through the B and make it into this first bonus. So this first bonus is a little bit tricky. What we're gonna do to start is we're gonna hold Y and right to get a roll off, then roll into the barrel, pick it up and jump up into the right. Then during our fall, we're gonna turn back to the left so we can instantly pick up this barrel again, and we're gonna jump back up into the right and get right away to kill the second B. Then we're going to turn back to the left, pick up this barrel, and then again jump up into the right and throw this time to kill the third B. And then we're going to turn back to the left, pick up this barrel, and do a slight delay and let the B get to the bottom of its arc. And the little bit of a delay is so that when we reach the peak of our jump, the B will be at the bottom of its arc, so we'll make contact like that. Now, I did a little bit differently there. In the sense that I didn't pick up the barrel right away. I actually delayed a little bit, then picked up the barrel and jumped right away. Only because I was like talking about things as I was going. I'll try to do it full motion here so you can see better how I do it real time, where I actually pick up the fourth barrel right away, and then delay, and then jump into the B. Now, if you do miss the B on if you miss the fourth B, the final B on its immediate cycle. What you can do is you can wait for it to come back around one more time and then jump throw to kill the final B. If you do it that way, you will end up with, I believe, a 17, which is still pretty good. So coming out of this first bonus, what you're going to want to do is you're going to jump over this barrel, and at the last moment, before you make contact with the rat, you're going to want to roll through it. You'll notice that if I do that, I did not bonk into that wall, and I did not break open the DK barrel, which is ideal. You can theoretically start your roll earlier, say like right here, which will give you extra movement speed through this little tiny section that I'm walking through right here. The problem is it messes up your position over here, so that I can't remember if it lands you on top of this platform, or if it bonks you into this wall, or if it causes you to break open that DK barrel. But it will do one of those three things, all of which are bad. Having two Kongs will lag the rest of the level. Bonking into the wall or touching this platform will impede your progress to the right, so it'll slow you down slightly. So yeah, it is actually optimal to not roll through this little section, instead just run to the right and at the last moment roll through this rat. Once you do that, you should be able to roll, pick up the barrel here, jump on the platform, and then throw to the right. And then what I like to do is I like to do a little roll and jump into this ceiling to cancel my movement and then be able to roll back to the left. You want to turn back to the left as soon as possible so that this moving platform respawns as soon as possible, because that's the next bottleneck. Next, you're going to want to time your jump so that you reach this this high platform as soon as possible. I do a little bit of a roll before the first bee, and then I jump over the rat here. I don't roll through the rat. While rolling through enemies does make you move faster horizontally, the next bottleneck is actually this moving platform here to the right. So this little bit of extra movement speed that you get through the rat doesn't actually help you, and actually killing this rat causes lag. So it's actually faster to avoid killing the rat by just jumping over him. And then you're going to end up on that moving platform up top. I take a slight delay there to make sure that the platform's low enough that I can sneak under the first red bee, moving left off the top platform. Then I start moving a little bit back to the right. I don't want to overcommit because I don't want to get hit by the second red bee on the descent. Ideally, what would happen is that you would move back to the right and you would not touch the second or the third moving platforms in this fall. However, if you touch the second moving platform, it's not that big of a deal. Just make sure you get off of it ASAP, because the second platform is, I believe, rising up, right? So if it's rising up and you stand on it for too long, then the second red bee will get in your way. You'll have to kind of wait even longer to avoid taking damage on that. So yeah, that's that. You should never touch this third. You should never have to touch this third moving platform because there's no other red bee in your way. You should be able to just move straight to the left to avoid it. And then you want to make sure you grab this invisible bear coin right there, since it's pretty free and easy. Then you're going to be able to get one roll, jump, and then delay your roll slightly so that you can make sure to roll through this first jumping guy. You won't be able to kill the second jumping guy, so you'll just have to roll under him, jump to this platform, roll to kill the rat, and then I like to roll and jump over this rat and land on the very far edge, so something like that, right? Now, you can theoretically, I believe, find a way to roll through this rat if you want, but the risky thing is that if you mess up your positioning for your roll up here, your roll could easily die right in front of the rat, and then you have only one Kong right now and you would die, so that would be bad. And the other tricky thing is, even if you did get the roll through the rat, there's this barrel right here, so you'd have to roll through the rat and then release Y so that you don't pick up the barrel, and then try to do something on this edge like right after that barrel. It would be really tricky, so I don't think it's worth it to do that. So anyways, roll, jump over the rat, and then on this ledge right there, you want to land on that ledge and you want to roll to the left, and then midair you want to, like, after you get the roll off, you want to do a right left wiggle, and that will make sure that your roll actually does go all the way to the left into this next up arrow barrel that's invisible right now, but I'm about to go into it, and you won't bonk into the wall that was immediately to your left when you were at the top side of the platform. So you'll avoid bonking, and you'll roll all the way into the up arrow barrel, which is exactly what you want. Now, this next little piece can be a little bit tricky, so I might need to cut back in if I die here. But since we only have one Kong, there are two methodologies to get to the bonus. If you have two Kongs at this point, you could actually just deboost into the bonus, and deboosting, the best option is just to run. I can't actually remember if the best option is to run into the hole off the bottom B, and then the deboost will take you back up and then back down, or if the best option is to jump into the high B. I can't remember. I do remember that they are slightly different in time wise, but they're pretty close. But I don't use that method anymore, so I couldn't tell you off the top of my head which one is the faster one. But you could deboost off of either B, and one will be slightly faster than the other, but they're both pretty comparable. Now, if you're not going to deboost, since we only have one Kong, what you want to do is you want to do a tiny roll, and like very tiny, like you just barely start your roll, and then you should be able to max jump over this this B, this first B. Then from here, like midway through your jump, you should be able to throw, and it should kill the last two Bs, and then you should be able to fall down into this bonus. And now I actually just run into this bonus, like I run like that, I don't jump. You could try to roll, but the rolling is actually, I believe when I timed it, 0.1 or 0.15 seconds slower. Reason for that is that when you roll off of a ledge, you don't like immediately fall down vertically. Like you can kind of see like I'm still kind of pretty much horizontal at that point while I'm already off the ledge. That little bit of lack of vertical drop is why it's slower to roll into the bonus. So yeah, you just want to run off the ledge into the bonus. You could also theoretically from here jump into the bonus, because the nice thing about that is you should be at max vertical drop speed by the time you cut this corner, but it's not worth it. It's actually about like identical time wise, and it's a little bit riskier because you could bonk on this corner. So yeah, just run to the right into the bonus and you should be fine. Again, so when you're coming out of this barrel, you want to land, do a very tiny roll, and max jump over it. Do not let your roll go too long. If you're too long on your roll, you will jump into the B that's in the air from the bottom right side of it, which is bad. And if you don't roll at all or don't roll enough, you'll actually clip the left side of the B on your way down. So this is definitely one that takes a lot of practice to get used to the timing on this. Again, very tiny roll and then jump. So that's kind of what it should look like. Now there is another method that was just recently showcased to me. I can't remember if it was like Tonkotsu. It was a Japanese runner. I was told that found this. But you can roll across this gap. Now you can't do it like, there's a very particular setup that's required to make this work. So like you can see like right here, if I do the roll, it doesn't work. But if I do it from, I believe it's like from this position right here, so you can see like I'm on the left side of this shadow. There's like the column has a shadow going diagonally, and when I get to the left side of that shadow, I'm able to roll all the way across, and that's going to be key to picking up this barrel, and then you can do the jump throw. Now, when you do this, you have to make sure you release Y after you get the roll off. The reason for this is that if you hold Y the whole time, you'll pick up this barrel the first frame that you're able to, which then means that this B will be in your way and you'll die. So you have to make sure to release Y and then only repress it once you're on the left side of the barrel, essentially. Like once you're partway through the barrel, then you can repress and hold Y so that you'll pick it up far enough left from the B that you won't take damage. So yeah, it's definitely kind of tricky. Now you can definitely do it by just going straight up in the air and then landing on that line and then going. But I found it a little bit easier actually, timing wise, to move to the right a little bit mid-air coming out of this up arrow barrel. So I'll hold right for a little bit, and then that kind of makes me position in such a way that when I land, I'm already on this line that I can go straight into the roll. But you don't have to hold right. You can time it such that you delay in the air long enough before holding right so that you land straight on that line. But again, I find it a little bit easier to hold to the right a little bit and then go. Now you don't want to hold right too much, because if you do that, you're wasting time, because then you actually have to move back to the left. Like you have to make up the ground that you lost. So you want to try to optimize it essentially so that the moment that you touch the ground, you're already on this line. And it is, if done really, really optimally, I timed it to be up to 0.4 seconds faster than jumping over this B, which I initially showcased. However, on the average case, I wasn't able to always get that 0.4 second time save. It was more often than not a 0.2 second time save, 0.25 second time save, but still a very nice time save. And again, if you are able to start your roll like at that shadow line, you should most of the time be able to make it across the gap, and then that should get you into the second bonus. I just wanted to apologize for the last section of the video. I didn't have my cam or my input display up. I didn't realize that, so sorry about that. Hopefully the description was good enough that you could get through it without the input display showing. But do remember that the input display is showcased during the original IL at the beginning of the video. And if you do have issues with that section, you're more than welcome to drop me a message and I'll try my best to answer it and help you through. Now, before doing the actual final bonus, I did want to mention that at the beginning of the video I said you could do a 2-entry Ellie Murky Mill setup where you would take the warp barrel. So I wanted to showcase how you get from the warp barrel into the final bonus. Reminder that doing the warp barrel is a slower best case scenario, but a faster worst case scenario. So if you have a successful 1-entry Murky Mill with Ellie skip, it is faster than a successful 2-entry Murky Mill with Ellie skip. However, it is faster to have a 2-entry Murky Mill without Ellie skip than it is to have a 1-entry Murky Mill without Ellie skip. So it's a worse best case scenario, but a better worst case scenario. So hopefully that makes sense. And coming out of the warp barrel, what you're going to want to do is you're at this point you'll have Kitty because you team through into the warp barrel. You're going to roll through the rats, then jump up to this platform, roll through the 2 bouncy guys there. You're going to bonk into this wall, and that's fine. Then you're going to roll through these 2 rats. You'll be able to jump out of your roll slightly prematurely so that you land onto this platform without bonking into this wall. And then you're going to roll off of this ledge, jump, and you should be able to go far enough that you should be able to jump over this barrel and then roll into this barrel. Now, at this point, you would be taking damage with Kitty into the B, but I want to showcase the traditional one, like if you only did 1-entry Ellie skip, or 1-entry Murky Mill with Ellie skip. At this point, you would actually have Kitty only. So I'm actually going to deboost just to be consistent with what it would look like with the 1-entry. You would enter this bonus with Kitty, but if you were doing the 2-entry, you would actually be entering this bonus with Dixie. But this bonus is really easy. Just hold Y and right, roll, jump, and roll. The same exact tactic should work whether you're Dixie or Kitty. Then you're going to roll, jump over that barrel, and then you should be able to roll through a lot of this section right here. One more roll, jump, and then roll through the last 2 rats, and roll, jump into the flag. Again, that ending section should look pretty much identical whether you're Kitty or Dixie. Both